In public, every move you make is a declaration of who holds the power, you or someone else. Yet most individuals sabotage themselves, not in conflict, but in silence, in regular moments. Today, you will discover what Machiavelli warned: 8 terrible mistakes you must never make in public if you want to be respected, valued, and never humiliated again. A man is not judged in the silence of solitude but in the turmoil of the crowd. In the eyes of other people, you are either an image of strength or a cautionary narrative. And if you don't control the drama of your public image, another person will write your tragic story. I am Niccolò Machiavelli, and today I will tell you what you must avoid if you want to rule your world like a king and not perish like a fool. Number 1. Never reveal your emotions. Never reveal your emotions, not in public, not when eyes are looking, not even when your world is slowly crumbling beneath your feet. In the realm of power, emotion is not desired, it is dissected. Every flickering of the eye, every trembling in the voice, every groan, every flinch, it is observed, understood, and weaponized. The man who expresses his feelings before others feels he is being honest. But honesty is not a strength, it is a risk. Remember this: public places are not safe places. They are colosseums. And you are either the beast or the wounded man in chains. If you cry in public, they do not see pain, they see opportunities. When you get angry, people do not hear injustice, they hear weakness. When you panic, they do not give help, they see blood in the water. Emotion displayed recklessly makes you predictable. And the predictable guy is already defeated. This world does not reward plain sincerity, it rewards strategy. People who command their expression command their image. Number 2, never argue loudly in public. The instant your voice rises beyond reason, you have already surrendered power. Men normally feel that dominance depends on volume, that if they shout louder, they win. But people who shout in public, in the hallways, or in front of co-workers or strangers reveal themselves as emotionally immature. And discipline is the foundation of all control. The loud guy is trying to convince everyone around him. The powerful man has no need. Arguing in public exposes too much, it indicates where your pride lies, where your fears lie, and where your patience ends. In such heated moments, you pass over a blueprint of your weaknesses. The public observes not your argument but your reaction. They remember not your argument, but your lack of control. Think like a king. Would a king shout before the mob? Would he explain himself to the people under him? No, because he knows one thing: silence can speak louder than words. When 2 men argue on the street, both look stupid. But the one who stays calm and measured becomes untouchable. He attracts the crowd not through shouting but through enigma. His silence dares other people to question what he knows, what he plans, and what he holds back. And that is far more powerful than any shouted word. Number 3, never show desperation. Never show desperation, not in your movements, not in your speech, and not even in your silence. Desperation is a stink, subtle to the desperate man himself, but overpowering to every person around him. It flows through every move, every request, every try to impress. And once it is noticed, everyone's viewpoint changes immediately. You are no longer a guy to respect, you are a guy to use. If you ask too eagerly, people say no, not because they can't say yes, but because your desperation robs you of value. In politics, in relationships, and in conversation, the man who looks desperate is considered a person who lacks options, lacks control, and lacks value. The hungry man is not given food. He is examined, evaluated, and finally discarded, publicly. You need to act as if nothing is missing, as if no opportunity, no person, and no outcome are important to your existence. Because the instant others notice you need something, they start to manipulate you, and you start shrinking. A king could be at war, his coffers empty, his supporters fleeing, but his face remains mysterious, his posture tall, and his tone calm. This illusion is not vanity. It is a technique, because when everyone else believes you are okay, they treat you accordingly. But show even a hint of desperation, and they turn you into a target. Number 4. Never overcompliment or flatter. In the realm of public life, the flatterer is never appreciated but only tolerated and always suspected. Men believe that kind words earn favor. They think that if they compliment enough and smile enough, doors will open. But power is not attracted by servitude. It is repelled by it. The person who flatters excessively and too publicly shows weakness. And weakness, if shown, is not forgiven. When you compliment someone too much, it starts to reek not of admiration but of strategy. Others start noticing what's happening behind your words. They wonder, what does he want from me? And if your motives are questioned, your reputation is ruined. Not only are you considered insincere, but you are also considered a player, a manipulator, a person who uses compliments like a bribe. Even worse, when you excessively compliment someone in public, you position yourself under them. You lift them higher while reducing your own standing in the center of the room. This might sound innocent, but in the game of power, even a small bow is remembered. Number 5. Never criticize someone in public. Never criticize anyone openly, not in public, not where everyone listens, not where the insult lasts longer than your presence. To openly criticize someone is to start a war without preparation. It seems reasonable at the moment, aggressive, bold, and decisive. But the public does not forget the drama, and neither does your target. The person you humiliate before everyone may smile. He may even agree. But inside, something changed. You have sown a seed, the seed of revenge. Every public disrespect, every insult, every correction made under the eyes of others damages not only the ego, it damages pride. And pride is the most deadly thing to provoke, since it does not heal, it plots. Someone who loses face in front of many people will seek to regain it, not through reasoning, but through revenge. He will wait. He will strike where your defense is weak. Even worse, you invite the judgment of the audience. They question themselves, who will he turn on next? Even though you were right, your approach is questioned. Your character is examined. You have made an enemy, yes, but you have also made every person uncomfortable. And discomfort develops into distrust. Number 6. Never try to be the funniest. The fool can entertain the royal family, but he never sits on the throne. There is a dangerous seduction in making other people laugh, a brief moment of attraction, a flicker of attention, and an overwhelming feeling of acceptance. But what feels like connection can often be corrosion. The more people laugh at your jokes, the less seriously they regard your presence. You become known, predictable. And in the tribunal of power, harmless is meaningless. Humor, especially when forced, turns into self-sabotage. The man who wants to be admired, who always tries to amuse, exchanges his dignity for the sound of clapping hands. They can laugh, but they are laughing at you, not with respect, but with entertainment. And the entertainer is replaceable. The funniest guy becomes the joker, not the general, not the prince, not the person who they follow in silence. He is remembered, yes, but not respected. And in public, respect is the only currency that cannot be forged. Do not confuse silence for weakness. Don't mistake laughter for loyalty. People will remember who made them feel powerful, not who made them laugh while feeling superior. Number 7. Never overshare your private life. Your pain, your objectives, your past, these are not public offerings. They are holy weapons or hidden weaknesses. Many people think that transparency creates connection, that by sharing more of themselves, they earn trust, empathy, and belonging. But the public is not your best friend. It is a reflection with a memory, and whatever you give it, it stores for later. What you disclose in trust today might be used in betrayal in the future. Each detail you share, the pain you experience, the regrets you still have, the objectives you have whispered, is a page torn from your inner armor. You believe you're building a bridge, but what you are actually doing is delivering the blueprints to those who may never build. Only shattered power demands enigma. When you talk too openly, you destroy the atmosphere around you. You become too familiar, too readable. And once the public understands you, they no longer fear you. They stop respecting what they can predict. People who smile as you tell your truth, do not mistake that for loyalty. Others will listen out of curiosity, not caring, and eventually they will retell your story not as an honor, but as gossip. Your openness turns into their favorite pastime. Your weakness becomes their currency. Number 8, never show off wealth or success. Showing off your wealth is to provoke hidden rebellion. To brag about your status is inviting quiet assassins. Men think that showing success is to attract admiration. But admiration is temporary. What you usually awaken is not praise, it is bitterness. The more you parade what you have, the more you remind people of what they lack. And jealousy does not speak. It plots. Real power does not shout. It hums. It is felt, not flaunted. A king who understands the psychology of mankind knows this: the instant you become the captivating example of luxury, you become the hot target. People do not attack the weak. They attack the person who has more than them and dares to show it.